Hey, welcome to Digging into the Bible. My name is Jim Barnard. This is a production of Tiller Coaching. All right, it's day 38. What? Look at how far we've come. We are starting Matthew chapter 14 today, and today we are talking about John the Baptist. I mentioned him yesterday, calling back to Matthew chapter 11, where John was in prison, in jail, and sent his disciples to go inquire of Jesus. Because I didn't have time. Man, 5-minute podcast. Are you kidding me? I can barely keep it to 5 minutes. But there was no time to cover why John was in jail. I also knew that this section was coming up, which would explain why, and it's fascinating. And so we're going to hear about John the Baptist's fate, and it's not pretty. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's dig into Matthew chapter 14, starting at verse 1. At that time, Herod the Tetrarch heard about the fame of Jesus, and he said to his servants, "This is John the Baptist. He has been raised from the dead. That is why these miraculous powers are at work in him." For Herod had seized John and bound him and put him in prison for the sake of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, because John had been saying to him, "It is not lawful for you to have her." And though he wanted to put him to death, he feared the people, because they held him to be a prophet. But when Herod's birthday came, the daughter of Herodias danced before the company and pleased Herod, so that he promised with an oath to give her whatever she might ask. Prompted by her mother, she said, "Give me the head of John the Baptist here on a platter." And the king was sorry because of his oaths and his guests. He commanded it to be given. He sent and had John beheaded in the prison. And his head was brought on a platter and given to the girl, and she brought it to her mother. And his disciples came and took the body and buried it, and they went and told Jesus. So that's not a fun story. Bwomp, bwomp. So, first of all, it's interesting that Herod is thinking, oh, Jesus is actually John the Baptist. He believes in the power of resurrection and, really believes in, the supernatural spiritual power and ability. He just isn't willing to attribute it to the Son of God. He's just attributing it to John as a really good prophet. That's an interesting fact. The other fact that stands out is just how creepy Herod actually was. Are you kidding me? What's wrong with this dude? He's marrying his brother's wife. I don't think his brother was dead. He just claimed her. I like that they had similar names, Herod and Herodias. That's a power couple right there. But then this creepy guy is all pleased. You know what I'm talking about? He's pleased by his stepdaughter's dancing, and that's awful. I really dislike this dude. So he makes this oath and he has to stick by it because, man, if he looks bad to his people, to his followers, man, he just could not handle that kind of shame, right? And so, the potential shame, or maybe the potential or assumed expectation gap of not following through on the oath caused him to put an end to John the Baptist. And I hate that. That's brutal, that it's gruesome. But let's be honest, John's life was a life well lived. I feel like I'm about to give a eulogy here, but what he did to prepare the way and how he served his father and his father's will was just so profound. And he did it to the point of even death. And I hate to say it, man, we're all going to be there one day. I hope I'm a long way away from that. But at some point we will all face that same fate. Hopefully not with our head on a platter, but in the meantime, and while we're waiting for that time to come, are we going to do everything that we can, even saying the hard things, just like John did? Are we going to really do it, give as good of effort as we can? John attracted a lot of attention by the effort that he gave. I mean, he's out there in nasty, stinky camel hair clothes, eating bugs and honey and just being crazy weird. I like to consider myself a zany person, but I don't hold a candle to John the Baptist. But I would like to believe that, however I get to go, that I can claim at the end of it, like, yeah, I gave it all. So that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and I will see you tomorrow as we continue on with Matthew chapter 14. See you then.